Hey guys, in this video, I want to touch upon some of the important points that you need to remember whenever you're working with generative AI. So first and foremost, when we talk about generative AI, it's a model that has been trained on historical data. Now, this is an important thing that you need to remember. I'm sure you might have experienced whenever you are using the generative AI application. If not, this is something that you need to remember. I'll show you the demonstration in this video. Just be with me. Let me just list down the important points and then I'll provide you the demonstration of the same. So a generative AI model has been trained on historical data. Okay, so which means the things that have occurred in the past. So using that data, the model has learned the pattern, which means that it doesn't necessarily know about the current happenings in our day-to-day world. So which means if you're using the generative AI model to know about your future or to know about some event which would happen in the future, well, the generative AI model cannot help unless and until it has learned some information about currently what is happening in the current world. Okay, that's an important thing that you need to remember. And whenever we think or whenever we talk about updating the trained model, especially with the help of new data set, we call that process as a retraining of the model. So what is training? Training is preparing for something. When I say trained generative AI model, it's a model that has been learned, that has learned the patterns in a given data set. Now, if I want to update its learning, we call it as retraining. And there's also one more term that you would generally hear about that's called as fine tuning. So what is fine tuning? So fine tuning is improving a trained model on a certain area. It's called as fine tuning. Now, what can be the certain area? The certain area can be improving its ability when it comes to generating the text in another language. Let's say you are training this generative AI model to perform a task of machine translation. So a very simple example you can think about is like, let's say you will provide an input in English language and you expect the generative AI model to provide you the translation in German. So this task is called as a typical machine translation task. Now, if you're focused on improving the capability of your generative AI model on this certain task, then you will make use of the technique that's called as fine tuning. It is improving a trained model on a certain task or a certain area. If you're thinking to improve the model overall using the new data set, that's called as retraining. So now that this is clear, let me just show you some practical demonstration. I've opened my ChatGPT application and we'll just try out our theory. Okay. The first thing that I've mentioned is a generative AI model has been trained on historical data. So let me do one thing. I'm going to say who won the World Cup in 2025. I'm talking about the data for 2025. And now, if you look at it, it said as search to site. Okay, that means it has searched the internet, and then from that it is able to generate the response. Okay, from that it is able to generate the response. That means the generative AI model do not have this information. It has to look into the outside world information and generate the response. So that is the overall meaning of what I mentioned as it has been trained on historical data. Like for example, this time I'm going to say it as who won World Cup in 2022. I'll just mention some year, okay, in the past. Now this time it simply goes ahead and generates me the output. It says Argentina won 2022 FIFA World Cup. So guys, this time it didn't search for web. Now why didn't search? Because it was already part of its training data. It is part of the data it has been trained upon, and that's the reason it did not search the website. Now, if I have the current word data, and if I want to use that current word data and improve it as part of its database or improve its part of its learning, that's where we call it as retraining. Okay, now what is fine tuning? So let's suppose I'm going to ask a question to the chat GPT. I'll say translate to German. What is it that it has to translate? I love coffee. So here I'm asking a question to my chat GPT to translate the text I love coffee to German. Okay, so it went ahead and translated it. Now let's say I want to improve the accuracy in which the output is being presented from the chat GPT for this translation. Now in such scenario, what we would use? So what do you think that we would use, guys? That's correct. We'll be using the fine tuning. So these are the key things that you need to remember from the understanding aspect of generative AI. So with this, we come to the end of this video and I'll see you next time, guys. So folks, thank you so much for watching till the end. So if you have liked this content, please go ahead and check out our course at Manifold AI Learning. So we are excited to see you on our course. I'll see you next time.